Okay, now we'll start with the second type of addresses. The first one was the physical. The second one is called the logical, and the reason for calling that the logical, this one is very important to use, but this one is not constant. This one is not created with the device when it was manufactured at the first time. This one, let's say, I can never say it's not mandatory. It is mandatory. We cannot live without it. The devices cannot live without it, just like a physical one. But this one, it can be changed, can be manipulated, can be redesigned, can be deleted and reconfigured many hundred of times, like a day or whatever you want. It's completely submitted to you, to your design, to your engineering, and this is called the logical address. One of the first examples for a logical address is called the Internet Protocol, but the version is version 4. There is no version 1, 2, and 3 at all. There is only version 4 and 6, and we are waiting for version 9 perhaps in the upcoming years. But only fill the headache of your head with version 4 and 6, and that's it. There is no 1, 2, 3, 5 at all. There is nothing like that, and no 7 and 8. Okay, so version 4, this one is the most common, and this one that I have been spending 5 or 6 years with, and no, even before that, and I might spend the upcoming 5 or 6 years with still before I really migrate to IPv6. Why? I will tell you why the upcoming videos, especially in the video of IPv6, but mainly there are only IP Internet Protocol version 4, and there is the IP Internet Protocol version 6. What technology, what the modern text says, we should migrate from the version 4 to version 6, and I will tell you that why, logical reasons, things that make sense in during the videos. So starting the first spec of the IPv4, it's a layer 3 text, so it participates, or it's encapsulated and transmitted through the layer 3, the network layer of the TCP/IP. It uses the decimal and the binary together. You type the decimal and the device understands the binary. Okay, the MAC address uses the hexadecimal only. It's logical, it's variable, never stable, based on the need, based on your design, etc. Instead of 48-bit of size, it's 32-bit of size or length here only, and that's it. And these 32-bit of length are divided into two parts, not two halves, no, two parts. Part called the network part, and the other part is called the host part. So now things are different, because in the MAC address I had an address that was divided into two halves, a half for the company, the other half is for the host, for the product, and we are done. Here I have an address, okay, that has 32-bit of length, and it's expressed for you to be seen by your eyes using the decimal language only. So you will see an address, okay, that is built using 32-bit of length decimal language, made of 4 octets, I mean 4 equal parts, looking in that way. 4 parts, they are called the 4 octets. Why octet? Because in the Latin language octet refers to number 8, so 4 eighths. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 equals 32-bit. So this is just to express the size or the length of that address, and that's it. But the main idea, the thing that what we need to absorb in the CCNA, what our future as a network engineers and designers depends on, is the address. So you will see an address, and let me show you the address that might look like one of the most famous addresses in the world, and that would be 192.168.1.1. maybe it looks like that. Just part, not half, the part of this address is called the network part that I cannot change. The other part is called the host part that I can change and redesign. But which one of them? Well, I don't know. So I just saw an IP address. Thank you. An IP address. Next. I want, let's say, to manipulate the IP address, or I want to understand this IP address, its boundaries, what does it use to, how can I make use of it, how can I avoid doing something wrong with it, etc. Let me tell you something important right now, and you need to never forget about that important thing, and that will be, from now on, starting from this video until the end of your career, not of the CCNA, this IP address, whether it was IP version 4 or version 6, this IP, this Internet Protocol address, the IP address is the only language devices use to communicate between each other, and that's it. A router will never be able to speak to another router before having an IP address. Another router or a switch or a node can never listen for any information coming to it without having its own IP address. So an IP address will always communicate with another IP address. So you need an IP address for your computer so that it will communicate with the IP address of the home router. The home router needs an IP address of its own self so that it will communicate with the ISP IP address. The ISP IP address will be used to communicate with the billions of IP addresses worldwide, which they are called the internet. So the IP addresses of your device will communicate with an IP address of google.com so that you will go to google.com. The IP address of your computer will communicate with the IP address of Cisco.com so that you'll go to Cisco.com. You are a video gamer, you have an IP address for your device. If it was a computer, a PlayStation or an Xbox or another Nintendo or whatever device, this IP address of that specific device is communicating with the server of the game so that you can play FIFA, you can play whatever other game, you can play any co-op online, Medal of Honor or Call of Duty game or whatever. Perhaps I'm an old-fashioned guy. Okay, so these are how things work over the internet and internally. I will go back right now to a very old and boring example that I have used from the beginning of this course, and that is this guy that had a shop, and we went to the shop. Each one of us used a computer so that we used these computers to play some networking video games together. At that time, let me tell you something this guy did not tell you. This guy configured all of these 6 computers to have IP addresses, and of course they were IPv4 at the time before. Even in the 90s there was IPv6 developed, but I'm sure that this guy used an IPv4. It's 10 times easier to use an IPv4 than an IPv6. So again, that guy used an IP address to all of these devices, and that IP addresses, these 6 IP addresses for these 6 computers, they allowed them to engage in something called a computer network. So you will never have a computer network without an IP address. And that is the catch. That is the idea. You can't have a manufactured device without a MAC address. Thank you, it's done. We know MAC addresses are mandatory and leave the physical address. But when it comes to a logical address, to an IP address, you design it, you configure it, you decide which address to use based on ton of criteria that we will need so many videos to talk about in this course. No problem, but the idea is it's based on you, and the devices can never communicate without these addresses, the IP address. So let's start talking about really IP addresses. And why did I mention all of these past 3 or 4 minutes? Actually, because these addresses that might look like this very famous address that you might have seen it when you purchased your computer, when you are installing a home router, and you have seen on the box this IP address showing. So many other devices in computer engineering use the same address. No problem. Perhaps it's .10.1, sometimes it's .1.10, sometimes it's .0.1, sometimes it's .20.1, other times .1.20. So many examples, or even 80.1, and so many other examples as well. All of them are valid. All of them needs you to understand addressing and subnetting before you make use of them. So in order to make use of them, let me go back to the point where I said part of that is a network part, the other part is a host part. What is the network part? What is the host part? Well, something simple. You live in a street, and in that street there are multiple buildings, houses. For houses, it's a house. For buildings, they have floors. They have apartments. Okay? So, there is something common between you all, and there are something specific to you only and never common with the others. What are those? When you call to ask for a pizza to be delivered by the restaurant, you will give them your address. So far, I think we all agree on that, okay? Unless the guy was your friend, so you don't need to give the address because they memorize the address, but not in that way. We are talking about something perfect or something identical, okay? So you will need to give the address. So you will start by mentioning the city, or let's say the area. Yeah, perhaps the restaurant is so close. So the area, let's say it in that way. Street should be good. Building, so far things makes sense. Apartment, condo, or a flat. Okay, so now we think, let's talk about these. So let me ask you some questions like area. So this entire area, how many houses or apartments are there? Yours only or others as well? I'm sure most of you or all of you will say there are multiple buildings, houses, apartments, condos, whatever, in that same area. So this is a common address between you and your neighbors. So even if your neighbors call the pizza guy, the same pizza guy, they ask for a pizza and they gave the area that you gave, the guy will say, please continue. Continue what? Continue the address, make it more specific, because this is an area, and in that area there are multiple houses and multiple apartments. How can I know who you are? Well, you might give them the street number then, and they will say better, but still, I'm sorry, I will not search for every single building and house in that street so that I will find you and I will give you your pizza. Not in that way, I'm sorry. This is not how things go on here. So more information, please. So you might finally give him the building, give that guy the building number, and they will say, good. So finally, I will go to this area, and when I enter to the area, I will reach this specific street, and I know that you live in this building. The building has 4 apartments. You still did not give me something specific. So far, we did reduce the number of chances, the number of possibilities. All of that still something called a common address, not a specific one. This is common. This is common between you and your neighbors. So you have this flat and your neighbor have that flat. Between you two, you have an identical address when it comes to the area, street, and building. You are not giving it something correct until finally someone will dance of happiness when you mention the flat number, and then the guy say, finally, about time, the pizza might get cold at that time. So yes, I will know now which area should I go to, which street should I enter, which building should I park my bicycle outside, and which apartment should I knock its door or ring the bell, so that I will correctly deliver you your packet that you desired. Pizza comes in packets, yes, and networks sends packets. Yes, correct. So you'll order a packet of pizza, and in network they will order a packet of data. Same thing, okay? And that's it. So again, why I mentioned this boring story, or why I mentioned all of that much of info, just because I reached the point of part of the address is for a network, the other part is for the host. But this part and that, or this part and that, or this part and that, I don't know. It's based on the addressing that we will talk about later, perhaps in the upcoming video. But at least in this video, let me only define what is a network address and what is a host address. This thing will be like, let's say, not your identity, but this thing will stick with you from now until the end of your career. You will always have to never make a mistake when it comes to something called network address and host address. So now, to integrate or to join this pizza story and the address story with that, the common addresses between you and your neighbors are called the network address, and your own specific thing is called the host address. Finally, and this is what I wanted to tell you. So host means you, network means the network around, the network in the neighborhood, and that is the difference between these two. I think so far we had so many scratches, and we need one of the students or the teacher himself to clean the board using an eraser, and it should be done in that way. I remember when one of the naughty students used to waste a lot of time while clearing the board, and that was like wasting the last 3 minutes of a football match. You need a referee to give that guy a yellow card. Okay, addressing, before I end the video, is something, or is the procedure or the progress of converting from the binary language to the decimal and vice versa. Wait, what? Why? Well, let me tell you something lovely. The IPv4 uses both decimal and binary language. You never use your keyboard, never, to type the binary. You always use the decimal. The router never understand internally the decimal. They understand the binary. So when it comes to IPv4, there will always be an immediate translation between decimal to binary and vice versa. So even if the result was in binary, it will show up to me in decimal. When I type in IP address, I type it in decimal, and the device understands that in binary. How is that done? By using the 4-octet method. So I have the 4 octets. When I type an IP address by my own self, by my hand, then I type it using the decimal language. And the decimal language is a language that has 10 digits starting from 0 to 9, and their values are from 0 to 255. So in that case, you will see 4 numerical values here that have the range, that are being written using the decimal language, and their values will never be below 0 and will never exceed 255. As an example, 192.168.1.1, 1.1.1.1, 100.100.100.100, and 4,294,000,000 different chances are available. Yes, it can be done in that way, even for 0, 0, 0, 0. So it starts from all zeros and it ends to all 255, 255, 255, 255, which is called the broadcast address. So the first IP address ever designed, the last IP address, IPv4 address ever designed. Between these two, we have more than 4,294,000,000 IP address. How did that number was created? Actually, that number came from, not this value, I'm sorry, I need to correct that. It came from the 2 to the power of 32, because it has the length of 32-bit, 32-bit up to the power of 2, and you have the result of 4 billions. If you don't believe in this mathematical rule, you can do something simple. You can use your hands, some papers and a pen, and you can start like counting how many IP addresses are between the all zeros to all 255s. Let me give you one last example. Like, I mean, if the first one was ever 0000, then the second will be 0001, the third will be 0002, until you reach 0000255. You can never make it to 56, so you have to type 00, jump 1, 0, 0011, 0012, yes, until you reach 001255. I know. Then you'll have to jump to make it 0020 until you reach the level where you have the 00255, 255. Then what? You'll have to jump double times to start from 0100 until you reach 255, 255, 255. So you'll jump in to 1 dot something, 2 dot something, 255 to something, 4 255s, which is called the broadcast. At that time, after a couple of months or years or 20 years, you will discover that you have written 4,294,000,000 and something IP address. This is the amount of IP addresses available there. So just briefly, what we talked in this video: what is the IPv4, length of the IPv4, how does an IPv4 looks like, or how do an IPv4 looks like, the 4 octets, the length of the 32-bit before, and why the 4 octets is called an octet, the addressing and converting, or like the decimal thing. And we did not convert, we will convert later, because this video is about 20 minutes and that should be more than enough. But these are so many introductions. Yes, all of these are still just an introduction to IPv4. We will have 3 or 4 or even 5 videos coming to continue talking about an IP address. So Thank you. Clear your thoughts and collect, or let's say write down all of your notes so that we'll continue in the upcoming video. Thanks.